I'm waiting for a thumbs up on the audio from my...
I don't hear anything. Oh, wait. Nope, we're good.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I was waiting for a thumbs up on my audio from my tech. I'm having a lot of mic problems today. We switched them out. We checked out everything. With that being said, let's give this little boy the best we have. So here we go. And I don't want to cut him short because of audio.
It's best as can do. It's slightly robotic, but...
Is it robotic again?
A little bit, but...
Okay, well, let me know if it gets too bad. Shortly after 8 a.m. on Friday, June 4th, 2010, 7-year-old second grader Kyron Horman arrived at Portland Skyline Elementary School. It was the day of the science fair, and he was setting up his project with the help of his stepmother. Though a fellow student reported seeing him at 9 a.m. near the school's south entrance. Kyron did not report to any of his classes that day, nor did he board the bus later to come home. In fact, he has never been seen by anyone since. This is a disturbing story behind the disappearance of Kyron. This is a little cutie right here. I think people would remember him as soon as they seen him wearing this little CSI shirt. Ironically, Kyron Horman had a keen interest in forensic scientists. Now we need to be forensic scientists to find him. On the day he disappeared, he was wearing a CSI t-shirt bearing the logo from a crime procedural show. It was Horman's, I'm going to stop using his last name. It was Kyron's stepmom, Terry Moulton, who was the last family member to see the boy alive as he walked down the school's hallway to a class that Friday morning. But she failed a polygraph test on the day's events twice. And she has since divorced Kyron's father and has been named a suspect by court documents and her own lawyers. You know, that's pretty bad if your own lawyers think you're a suspect. Perhaps the most non-biased sequence of events on Kyron's last day comes from a detailed timeline that the just the craziest name, the Oregonian, that's their newspaper. Sorry about that. 10:10 that morning. However, it actually puts his stepmother, Terry Moulton, at two different grocery stores until 10:10 that morning. However, between then and 11:39, the stepmother has no alibi. Not looking too good for her. She claimed she was driving rural roads with her infant daughter, Kira, trying to soothe her because of an ear infection before checking into a 24-hour fitness about 11 miles away at 11:39 a.m., where she stayed for about an hour. Then around 1:21, Moulton claimed to have arrived at home, logged into Facebook, and posted some photos of Kyron at school with his science project from that morning. Then Kyron's father, Kane, joined Terry to meet the school bus at 3:30 p.m. But Kyron didn't get off. When they drove to the school and found out that Kyron had not been marked, that Kyron had been marked absent all day, they had the secretary call 911. And so began the largest missing person search in Oregon history to date. And it began. Stepmother, this is Terry Moulton, and this is our little cute CSI guy. Suspects emerged from within Horman's own family. At the heart of the search for Kyron is the relationship between his parents and stepmother. His biological parents, Kane Horman and Desiree Young, divorced when the boy was small, and the two shared custody until Desiree, his real mother, became severely ill with kidney problems. She was forced to move back in with her parents and gave full custody to the dad until she was fully recovered. Kane then married Terry Moulton, with whom he had a daughter, Kyra. But things apparently were not going too well in marriage. According to emails that Terry sent to her friends, after police showed her these messages, Young said the emails revealed that Terry had a severe hatred for Kyron. She blames a lot of the marital problems between Kane, the dad, and herself on Kyron. It was a huge point of contention in their marriage, and she had expressed in great detail her hatred for Kyron. Miss Young says, I now believe without a shadow of a doubt that not only is she capable of hurting Kyron, that it is clear that she could have hurt him in the worst possible way. She's just not looking good from the beginning of this at all. Initially, there was no real interest in Terry Moulton as a suspect in Kyron's disappearance. Sources indicated that there was a probability of deception during her first polygraph and gaps in the timeline she gave for the day Kyron vanished. Yet none of these details amounted to anything more than suspicion, until about a month into the investigation when a bombshell was dropped. For 10 days, Kyron's case was considered a missing person. But then investigators announced it was officially a criminal investigation. In July 2010, a local landscaper who Moulton previously hired showed up at the police station, and he told authorities that about 6 months prior to Kyron's disappearance, Terry Moulton Horman, she's using two names now, offered him money to kill her husband. Detectives shared the landscaper's account with Kane, and he left the house on June 26th, and with the couple's 19-month-old daughter. He promptly hired a family law attorney and filed for divorce papers and a restraining order against Terry Moulton. Now that's going to be a pretty tough deal there. Your child is missing. And the last person to see this child and was with this child is the person you're getting a divorce from So that's not a good combination at all. And she hated him. So it's looking like he's a hot topic for whatever happened to Kyron from the get go. But the divorce thing, I don't think it was helping matters. So the Kyron Horman case, an update, um, was Unsolved Magazine did a Q&A, and I'm just going to cover some things in it. Unsolved Magazine asked Matt Johnson what happened to Kyron Horman on June 4th, 2010. He said Kyron Richard Horman was excited to go to school that day because it was a science fair at his elementary school in Portland, where he attended the second grade. That morning, he put on his glasses and CSI TV t-shirt, and his stepmom, Terry Horman, took him to school. She took his picture next to his green cardboard project display of the red-eyed tree frog at the pre-class science fair. She told police she watched him walk down the hall to his first class and then left the school. Kyron disappeared within an hour of that photo. They asked, when was he discovered missing? Matt Johnson again answers, Kyron's stepmother, Terry, says she walked to the bus stop with her husband, Kyron's father, Kane, with their toddler, Kira, to meet Kyron after school. But Kyron never got off the bus, and that's when the bus driver said he was never on the bus in the first place. The bus driver called the school's secretary at Skyline Elementary, and then it was discovered he was marked absent from all of his classes. The secretary called Portland police, and the school enacted an emergency robocall to every single parent of students that went to that school. And so how much attention was given to Kyron's case? It was national news from the very beginning and led every single local newscast for the first 3 months. The case was covered on Oprah, Dr. Phil, Dateline, Good Morning America, The Today Show, Nancy Grace. Every news program and news magazine was in Portland or covering the case via satellite. So the next question I asked him was, Kyron's mother has since publicly accused Terry Horman of withholding information. She called Terry a horrible person and said she believes Terry is involved somehow in her son's disappearance. She also reiterated that she wants police to keep pressure on Terry for more answers. Terry has always denied any involvement in Kyron's disappearance and said in recent interviews with Dr. Phil and People magazine that she believes Kyron was abducted and is still alive. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, there is a lot of kid trafficking in this country, especially with him being on the coast. He could have been taken anywhere. He could have been sold by his stepmother if she's going to go that route. He could have been given away. He could have been sold. California is a hot spot. Anywhere on the coast is a hot spot for this trafficking stuff. So that is an option, but it's not the likely option, but it's a possibility. So Another question was, has Terry Horman ever been named the suspect? And MJ says no. Terry has denied any involvement in Kyron's disappearance and has never been named the suspect in the case. However, Horman failed two separate polygraph tests around the time of Kyron's disappearance. She told Dr. Phil that she is hard of hearing and could not fully understand the questions. Horman also said that she told the truth and does not know why she failed. Well, you fail when you don't tell the truth. The boy was with you. So, and if you can't hear, you need to get some hearing aids. Especially if somebody's saying you're guilty of killing somebody, a child or something. I bet you better get some hearing aids. I bet you they have a way of doing that for somebody who's hard of hearing. Come on now. And the next question they asked was, anybody else the police have questioned? Young and investigators have tried to get information from several friends of Terry Horman, including D.D. Spicer. Spicer reportedly abruptly left her job at Northwest Portland on the morning. Get that? Here we go. Watch it. On the morning Kyron disappeared and returned 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Horman buy a burner cell phone. No, there's no reason that people are looking at you. Not at all. How dumb do you think people are? According to media reports at the time, in July 10, the county grand jury subpoenaed Spicer, and law enforcement called her cooperative, and said she allowed a search of her car and property. Spicer was never charged for any crime. Now, in October 2012, Spicer refused to answer more than 140 questions during deposition for Young's lawsuit against Horman. Some of the questions were in regard to her whereabouts and contact with Terry the day of Kyron's disappearance. She also refused to identify a photo of Kyron and say wherever, and she has never met Kyron. Come on, 140 damn questions. And this is your friend that you're close to. Where do I get that from? Well, okay. If you helped her in this, which is what it's looking like, then you have to have seen this child not just on this day, but on some other day, because this is the stepmother of this child. So this wouldn't be the first time you've been in contact with this child. So where did Terry Horman go after she says she dropped Kyron off at school? Well, according to police statements, Horman said she dropped Kyron off at school at 9 a.m. She took a photo of him at 8:45 a.m. We're talking 15 minutes here. Watched him walk down the hall and then got in her truck and drove away. Horman says she drove around with a 19-month-old daughter, Kira, to help ease her earache and help her sleep. She then ran errands and went to the local Fred Meyer grocery store, went to the gym, and posted pictures on Facebook of Kyron at the science fair before going to the bus stop to pick him up. You know, the only thing we're sure of is that, yes, he made it to school that day. And yes, he was standing in front of his exhibit at 8:45 a.m. That's what we're sure of. And someone told somebody that someone may have seen Kyron and Terry walking away from the school leaving that morning, but it is still unknown what happened after that photo was taken. You're talking about a really tight line here, 15 minutes. Since he had done his project, I guess I could see him maybe. Well, no, he didn't take it down because it was still up. So, you might think he might be done with his project and putting it in the truck for her to take it home. But no, that didn't happen either. The truth of it is, just remember, she hated him. For whatever reason, she hated him. And if you know anything about what happened to Kyron Horman, please come forward, and there is a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to bringing Kyron home. I have the tip line on the bottom of the screen scrolling. And so the thing of it is as long as it's been now since 2010 and it's 2022, okay, this kid could be anywhere. He literally could be anywhere. This is an age progression photo. My computer's running a little slow, but it's okay. Now, what the FBI did was pretty ingenious. He did a lot of good work on that post, on that tree frog event, I'll tell you that much. For his age, wow. The FBI bought replica clothing, exactly what he was wearing the day he went missing. So this is not his clothes. They didn't find his clothes without his body. This is a replica of his clothing. So when they were going out, all the parties that went out looking for him, they would be able to tell quite well from head to toe what he was wearing. Here's a replica of his glasses also. These are not his glasses. It's a replica of his glasses for the search parties to follow. There's a lot of people, but there's a huge forest around there it's a huge forest. It's a lot. And here is this poster that needs to be, if you can print this poster up, put it on your fridge, put it in your car, put it wherever you can, because this is important. He's still missing. And regardless, he needs to come home. Regardless. Sadly, is it possible she trafficked him? That's possible. Do I believe that? No. Do I believe she done something harmful? Yes. There's Dee Dee Spicer. That's her friend. She's unaccounted for at the exact same time as Terry on June 4th, 2010. And she pled the fifth 142 times and claims to have an immunity deal, but she does not. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I would give her a deal to make her talk, but at the same time, I would find something to hang her ass on. I'd give her a deal to make her talk. But I would find something that would give her time in jail. After she gave me the information, I wouldn't give her, a free ride. There has to be something that you can give her immunity on to get what you need to know, but yet something in your back pocket that you can hold out to get her on. You're supposed to be slick people. You're a prosecutor. Your job. They're screaming guilt all over the place. 142 times. You plead the fifth. There are no words for that. This is a child. Whether he's been trafficking, then tell them that so they can begin to look for him in a trafficking manner. And that's not going to be easy either. But at least they know where to start instead of thinking that you killed him. And if she did, Dee Dee, open your damn mouth. Open your mouth and tell what she did to this child. I will be back tomorrow with the second part of this, and we are going to cover Miss Terry Lynn Horman very, very in depth. And I hope to see y'all here. Robin Greer, thank you for coming. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night. Thank you for coming.